Welcome to a sports betting podcast from pregame.com for the week of December 2nd, 2009. I'm your host, RJ Bell. I'm joined by Vegas runner, genuine professional bettor here in Las Vegas, Marco D'Angelo, 30 years in the business and with a new hat.
Not a day less.
It's a new hat, but it's an old style.
Yeah. Selling papers on the corner. You should newspapers.
This is segment 3 of 6, big game preview, college football, Nebraska, Texas. It's a playing game for the national title, really. Okay. Well, if Texas wins.
Yeah.
As usual, you give us the line breakdown and the line move on the game.
Interesting one here. This one's at Cowboy Stadium, again, neutral site. Texas opened as a 13-point favorite with a total of 46.5. As of today, we're looking at 14, a couple 14.5s, and a total of 43.5. I actually used that under as one of my true steam plays this week for that weekly blog. And I could tell you for sure, because of the way the line moved up and down, the wise guys bet both sides of this one as far as the side's concerned. They laid 13 with Texas, and a couple books took it all the way up to 15, and they bought that back. They took the plus 15, plus 14.5s that were out there. And that's why we're looking pretty much a steady 14. Some square shops have 14.5.
Okay, so a couple points you just made. One is you're doing a weekly blog.
True Steam.
It's called True Steam, in which you break down the line moves and tell you when they're legitimate and true and when they're looking to buy back
later.
And
I'm getting they're actual plays because I'm choosing the ones that agree with my own ratings and my own lines. And so far this year, it's done really well.
Over 65% on the year.
Yeah, 68% for the year and 75% over the last 5 weeks.
And that's all free. Just go to pregame.com, click blogs,
and it's up right there every week. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, and you're saying you had a comment on the total. On the side, you're saying it looks like the wise guys like the favorite below 14 and like the dog above 15.
Exactly.
Or above 14.
Exactly.
Okay, as you look at this game, Marco, as a handicapper, what jumps out at you?
Well, what jumps out to me is the move on the over-under. And for there to be this much action on an under early in the week, that's wise. That's definitely wise guy money early on. You're not going to bet unders early.
It's not weather-related this early.
All right.
And looking at the Nebraska defense, that's the key to this game. If they're able to slow Texas down, throw out last week's game for Nebraska against Colorado because it really was a meaningless game. In their previous 5 games, they held Iowa State to 9, Baylor to 10, Oklahoma to 3, Kansas to 17, and Kansas State to 3.
The only Texas Tech scored more than 20 on them, and they beat them. That's the only problem there. If this team gives up points,
all right, but hold on a second.
Trouble.
We're about answers, not questions here. So, yeah, if Nebraska's defense plays great, they're probably going to cover the 14. What do you look at as a handicapper? Are they going to play well against Texas?
Well, based on the wise guys making that bet on the under, the sharps are saying that this Nebraska defense is going to play well. They're betting it under. They wouldn't be betting it under if they didn't think Nebraska could stop this Texas offense. That's what I'm looking at.
So you're saying that the under action makes you like, or makes you think the wise guys like Nebraska's D, which makes a ton of sense. And if they like their D, you like Nebraska getting the point.
Exactly. You're catching on quick.
Well, that's, I mean, you would think it's not necessarily, that's an interesting concept because you would think if them liking the Nebraska D makes them like Nebraska, they'd bet Nebraska. So what you're really saying is the wise guys are saying, hey, we're not going to get involved with Nebraska, but because we are betting the under, we do like the Nebraska D. You're saying if that's the case, that Nebraska D is going to play well, you actually think that you like Nebraska, which clearly means that you think the Nebraska offense is going to do okay against Texas.
They're going to get enough points on the board to stay in this game.
All right, so what do you look at as the keys in this game?
Myself, I leaned under right away, too, obviously. That's why I gave it out as a true steam game this week. But I think more of the reasoning why they're betting the under is because the fact Nebraska is going to have a lot of trouble scoring in this game. Texas is so good against the run that they force teams to throw. And when you could sit back and know teams are going to throw on you, no one's had success doing that against Texas. And I think that's what's going to happen to Nebraska this week. Texas has a huge advantage. As good as Nebraska's played defensively, the problem with them is they can't score points. They're 73rd in scoring offense, and you can't do that against Texas, who's 9th in scoring defense. So I think that move toward the under is more like the same move that happened with Oklahoma State a week ago, 2 weeks ago, when they moved to Oklahoma in the under, and they did that because they weren't expecting Oklahoma State to score.
All right, so let's think about this a second. And this is kind of an advanced concept, there's really two, forget special teams for a moment. There's two matchups. There's Team A's offense against Team B's defense and vice versa. And really, if you look at it and you think Team A is going to have an edge in both spots, then you like Team A on the money line, okay? Or excuse me, you like Team A as a point spread or as a side, or the money line, but really you like that side.
Right.
But there's also a way those two different squares can be where you like the offense in both cases. If you like the offense in both cases, then you like the over. Or you could like the defense in both cases and like the under. So there's really 4 ways to play, right? Team A, Team B, over, under. And what the wise guys are saying is when we look at the Texas offense against the Nebraska D, we like the under. We like the fact that Nebraska D is going to do well. When we look at the Nebraska offense against the Texas D, we think the Texas D is going to go well. We're not getting involved in the side. We're playing the under.
That's exactly it. And that takes some guts when Texas has scored 41 points or more in 5 of the last 6 games, and now you're looking at a total of 43.5.
But Marco's saying that, hey, I actually think that, I think that the Nebraska D is going to do okay against the Texas offense, but I think the Nebraska offense might do a little better than expected, and if so, I'm going to like the underdog in this case.
Right. One other point, and I know you don't like this, but I'm going to bring it up from last week. Texas is the team that has everything to lose in this game. Nebraska has nothing to lose in this game. We talked about this last week. There were 6 situations. All the teams in these 3 big championship games had nothing to play for last week. 5 out of 6 did not cover the spread last week.
All the dogs
which games are we talking about?
Alabama, Florida, Georgia, who they played last week. Like Alabama,
so the teams in the big championship games the week before
that had nothing to play for knew
they were already locked into these championship
Only one
games.
covered, Florida. That was
to me, motivation is. I'm not sure exactly what we talked about where I disagree with that, but in general, I think motivation is very important. Okay, so each week we give a $10 coupon away for anyone that wants to actually buy a premium pick from Vegas Runner, or you or any of the guys at Pregame Pros. Give us the information.
Well, the coupon this week is Perfect 10. The word perfect in 10. And I'll tell you why we're using that for the coupon. No, it's not that Dwayne Bryant is as good looking as Bo Derek, okay? But Dwayne Bryant is on a perfect streak of 17 straight winners. 17 straight winners, so you always ask me about the hot capper. It's Dwayne Bryant.
That's easy.
That's easy. We also have another guy that's on a perfect streak. Somebody's hit 9 in a row. He's in the shadow, and that would be me. And I've hit 9 straight.
That hat could be making it where you're not being recognized.
Well, possibly. Okay. But we got 2 cappers with perfect streaks going.
Let's think about 17-0. It's funny, if you grow up and you watch the old 80s stuff where
they went 17.
Everyone was 90%. This guy's gone 17-0 with thousands of people scrutinizing every game. You know it's true. The odds of that are over 100,000 to 1 of flipping a coin 17 straight times and getting 17 straight heads, which Dwayne's done. And he's got a game of the week coming up Saturday, and you can get a $10 coupon.
$10 coupon. Go to the shopping cart, put in whatever you want. You'll get $10 off. And yes, if it's only $10, they get it free.
That's awesome. All right, so good conversation, and we're going to be moving to the pros next. So next up is going to be Tennessee and Indianapolis. Remember, you can get all of our videos at pregame.tv, or if you want to download and listen, just go to iTunes and search for pregame.com.